You're watching EVH and Gear TV, brought to you by Stewart Travel Guitars. See the incredible stowaway travel guitar at stewartguitars.com. Microphones for EVH and Gear TV are provided by Rode Microphones. And official Van Halen merchandise is provided by VanHalenStore.com. Here's your host from Ontario, Canada, EVH artist Eric Broadbent.
Good morning and happy Sunday morning, afternoon, whatever the time may be. It is 12 o'clock here Eastern Standard Time here in southwestern Ontario. Beautiful, beautiful Sunday day, sunny day out there. Had some rain over the evening, but it's looking fantastic out there. This is a video I've been wanting to do for pretty much a week straight now. I've been trying to do this. Actually, the live broadcast has been scheduled and rescheduled 3-4 times. A real simple broadcast that I want to do is probably going to take no longer than 60 minutes. For sure won't, because we've got another show. We've got the Helix Hour show this afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern with Corey Churko on the show. I wanted to go through some demos and show people what Helix Native software can do. And for those of you, the people that want to get into the Helix game, that, maybe, finances are a concern, you can't afford the full-blown Helix, maybe even LT, or maybe even Stomp, which you can see back over here as well, too, the little baby Helix. If all of those things are out of reach financially, there's another option that sometimes people don't think about, and that's Helix Native software. And I'm going to show you exactly what Helix Native software can do. I think it's going to be a great, I kind of teased it with the title of the video, a gateway into the Helix family of products. So first and foremost, I want to thank people that have a couple times tried to tune into this broadcast that's been scheduled and stopped. We're having major problems with our internet provider. They are working with us to get it rectified, and I'm kind of going to be a champion for our local city, I think, because I'm trying to get this fixed for our broadcast, and everyone else in our little small town is going to benefit from my hounding of the company as well, too. And it's been so bad that, in the evenings, pretty much 7 o'clock at night, we're on cable internet, mind you, as well, too. 7 o'clock at night, rolls over and stops, comes down to a bare halt. Like, we have a 10 meg upload system here, which isn't phenomenal, but it's great for 1080p. It's all I need for 1080p. And it's been dropping down to under 1 megabyte, like less than a half a megabyte of upload, which I can't broadcast a show at that. Bare minimum to bring the quality that I'm giving you at this very moment, I could drop down to 6 for a few minutes, and I could still provide okay data, but it'd be like flipping pages in a comic book trying to, see the animation. That's how bad the frame rate would be. So long story short, internet in the afternoon is good. That's why I'm doing it right now. And that's going to be a precursor for our Helix Hour show at 3 o'clock Eastern today. So a few people jumping in the chat right now, say hi to you, and I appreciate you coming by. And I think you might like some of the software. We've got Greasy Monkey Guitars is first in the chat, and Greasy Monkey has been here a couple times trying to watch this show, and it just wasn't in the cards for any of our viewers. Our beautiful Nocturnal Butterfly is here with her dancing shoes on. Defcon Clark is here. R2R3 Locking Nut is here. Django Amadeus is here. Nice to see you. Chris Link is here as well, too. And I'm getting messages as we speak. Okay, there we go. I can't repeat what was just said, but it does put a smile on my face for sure, and that's Nocturnal Butterfly. All right, so guitar of choice today is going to be my Wolfgang standard Indonesian model. A little hopped up with a few extra little goodies on here. And Japega 2 is here as well, too. Very, very nice. Okay, let me just see if I'm in tune. All right, so let's talk some Helix Native. So Helix Native software, if you're to buy this right out of the gate with no other, like not owning a single Line 6 product, it's $399 US. Now, what it is, it's not a standalone software product. You have to use it with your DAW of choice, your recording software. Now, myself, oh yeah, 1 second. I've got to do one thing here. Sorry. I'd like to introduce, let me see here. 1 second. I'll say, okay, done. We have a new moderator on the channel today. We have Jason Wade. Congratulate Jason. He's now a moderator on our channel. So he's here as well, obviously. I couldn't do that without him being here. Joey Hervey is here. Brad Miller. No problem. He's got going to Avengers. I saw it last night, Brad. I won't say anything about it other than I loved it. Junior and I saw it, a late night show last night. Absolutely loved it. Brilliant movie. Everything you'd hope for and more. Charles Green is here as well, too. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Okay, so you have to use Helix Native with your software recording, DAW of choice. I'm using Logic on a Mac. I understand you can use it with Reaper and all kinds of other things as well, too. I think I have a link in the description to the software on Line 6's website. If not, line6.com, look for products and software, go to Helix Native, and it'll give you all the supported platforms that you can use it with. Okay, so then what you do is you just go into your recording software and, instead of talking about it, why don't we just show it, okay? All right, so let's jump over to another screen here. All right, so I've got a couple screens where you can see the neck of the guitar, and you can see myself as well. Not that you have to worry about that. Just worry about the guitar. That's all you want to worry about, and software. So I have it open right now, and the cool thing is you can take your presets from Stomp or Helix, any of the Helix, whether it be Rack, Floor, or LT, and import them into Native, which I've done here. You've probably heard me talking a while ago about this preset I made called Boston's Pizza. And it was a preset that I was kind of trying to mimic Steve from Boston from his YouTube channel. He has a nice live guitar tone. He doesn't use Helix Native. He uses THU or whatever that software is. I've never used it, but it's strictly software-based, whereas Helix Native is the software complement to the hardware. I'm not saying it's any better than THU. I'm not saying THU is any better than this. I'm just saying this is how it works. It's software to basically model their hardware. So you know how Helix has hardware that will model your different amplifiers and effects. Well, this is everything done by the power of your computer. And I don't think you have to have like a crazy, super, workstation to run it. I'm running it on a decent Mac with 16 gig RAM, all those goodies and stuff like that. So I'm using inside of Logic, and I'm just going to close the native screen for a second. And so, yeah, okay, I should back up a little bit. So like I say, I brought in this preset Boston's Pizza. The only thing that you'll have limitations in Helix Native is that if you notice, I can I mouse to it? Can you see the mouse? Yes, you can. See where it's right here? It's got a little circle over the loop. That's my looper, my 6-button looper. You can't do things like that inside Native. There's a few things that you wouldn't be able to do that would be on your Helix. And you can tell I've created this on Helix because now I've got a looper there that doesn't exist in the software. There's also some other things that you wouldn't be able to do, like your sends and returns. So if you had a couple send and returns, you wouldn't be able to do that on the software as well either. But the cool thing is you can open up multiple instances of Helix Native on track after track after track. The cool thing is one time I did a cover of Van Halen's Running with the Devil, and I forgot, there's one particular part I needed to use the Phase 90, my actual physical pedal at the time I was using, the EVH Phase 90. I forgot it. So I went back in, added another track in Logic, and I used basically the script phase, which is the vintage phaser, and I got the identical Eddie Van Halen sound just by using Native on a quick track. So I'm going to close it for a second and show you. Okay, so there's my Logic. All right, I've just got a simple track open, and down below you see my mixer here. And even though I've got Helix Native added there, I right click, control click. And then audio units, I've got other software here as well too, like Positive Grid, Bias, and things like that were the first gateways for me into the modeling world. So I'm still very, very thankful for that company as well for introducing me to modeling. And before that moment, I was the guy that was not a digital guy whatsoever. Okay, let me scroll back up just before I go a little further because I don't want to get too far behind on questions and comments. Let me see here. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. Chris Link, I might have mentioned. ASD is here. Hello says. Brad says, I just saw Sweetwater had a version of Native for HX Stomp for $99. Yes, okay, so maybe we'll clarify that. If you buy the product outright, the software, it's $399 US. If you own any of the Helix family of products, HX Effects, HX Stomp, Helix Floor, LT, or Rack, you can purchase it for $99. So if you have none of those, it's your cheapest entry weight into the Helix family, $399 US. Or if you have one, you have a Helix and you want to be on the road and take Native with you, or you want to use it for recording in the studio, $99. So fantastic. Okay, so I go down to audio units, and I would just add line 6, Helix Native, and I go dual stereo or dual mono. Okay, so I've got stereo right now, so I'm not gonna add it because I've already got it. I just double click it. Okay, now it pops it up, and it's got one of my presets right now, which sounds like this. 100% software based. They're not, and oh yeah, so this is the cool thing too. We should be talking about how we're getting our signal to the computer. All right, now there's multiple ways myself I could be doing this. I could be running it through my mixer, which you could probably see. You might see if I go over here. Okay, you can see it there a little bit. I've got my Personas AR12 mixer over there as well too. All right, let's go back to Actually, let's go to this screen for a second. Okay. What I used to use, believe it or not, when I was using the Positive Grid software, and the cool thing was I was using it also on my iOS devices, on my iPad as well too. I was using this little guy right here. It's a little dirty. It's got fingerprints on it. Should have cleaned it. It's the Apogee Jam Digital interface. Now, this at the time only worked for Mac, and I think it does still only work for Mac. I'm not 100% sure on that. But a lot of people are using Mac, and it also works for the interface to the iPad. Now, it was good. It was small, convenient, that kind of thing. Got me, I could put it in my laptop bag, which was cool. It has a guitar input on the bottom. Okay, and these are on $150. They're probably cheaper than that now. But what I don't like about it, and I never did, was the gain control. It's a little tiny thing. If I try to show you. Okay, just like a wheel. All right, you spin it. All right, and I didn't really like that. And someone's asked me if I'm using a DAW. Yes. So AZ's asked if I'm using a DAW. You have to use a DAW for this. I'm using Logic Pro on my Mac. All right. So that's what I didn't like about this, was had that volume control. So let's go back over to Native again for a second. So you can use anything you want to get your guitar signal into your computer of choice. In this case, Mac, running to our Helix Native. You can use like the iRig. You can use any of those type of things, whatever you want, even fancy, non-fancy, whatever. But in today's demonstration, I'm actually literally, this is kind of funny. Let's go back to the full screen here for a second. I'm using HX Stomp right here, and I'm not using Stomp. Don't think any sound is coming out of this. I can't, if I hit a volume right now, or a note, and I touch the volume control on Stomp, it does nothing. Watch. All I'm using Stomp for is a very nice, robust USB interface. I've got the USB cable right here. It's running around. You can't see it. It's going to my little USB hub. And the nice thing is it has a consistent, I'm not sure the proper term for it, but it does have a nice line level coming into it, because anything in the Helix family, whether it be the physical hardware or the software, Eric Klein from Line 6 will tell you it needs a nice clean signal coming in. You don't want it to be too hot, and you also don't want it to be too low. You want that kind of the porch is too hot, the porch is too cool. You want it just right. All right, so if I go back to Native, if you're looking at my input signal, the input signal is on the left. Let's see if I can move my mouse. Can you see it? I think I have it. Yeah, so this is my input signal. And that's output over here. You don't want it too hot, and this might clip a little bit. I'm going to show you. You don't want it to clip at all. You want it to be nice and clean. That's a little too hot. Too hot. So that's the secret of that. So that works really, really good. So if you got Stomp and you have like a MacBook Pro or something like that, or a PC and you've got Reaper or something on there, that works as a great interface. And then if you're not recording, you can just plug in your headphones into Stomp. I'm just kind of showing you what you can do with Stomp as an interface. You can use anything. I just happen to have it sitting here on the desk, and that's what I'm using today. So I'm gonna play a song in context, let you hear what it sounds like with a song, how it sounds here, and then we're gonna show you how easy it is to physically create a preset as well too. So let me just double check before we continue on, see if there's any other questions that I may need to answer before we continue. Lars Guitar is here. Thank you so much for joining in. And like I said, this is for those of you who are just joining in. This is a precursor for our show today at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. We've got Corey Churko on the show. He plays with Shania Twain. He's played with Reba McEntire, Kelly Clarkson, and he's also in the super group with Todd Kearns and Brent Fitz from Slash's band, Took. And you got to check them out. It's a great group that I didn't know anything about Took other than a Canadian act and what we call our Tooks over here. Incredible band. So it'd be worthwhile checking out today as well too. So let's continue down on the chat. I'm just glad we're able to bring this little demo here to you today, because I've been trying this for over a week with our darn internet. Jason Wade, he's playing. I think he's playing a Variax in Elner. I think it is. If I'm reading from a big distance right now, and I'm reading the chat on a smaller screen. My situation could make me a good guinea pig for Fractal. Just announced the FM3. I did see that, and the AX8 replacement. I'm selling my AX8 before it loses a ton of value. I have the Firehawk 1500 for my FR cab. Very cool. Yeah, that thing is pretty interesting looking. I know there's something going on over the Boston Guitar Show. I think they've got some on demo over there right now. R2, R3, let me see. Just talking to Jason. Continue on. Yeah, let me see. Chris Link says he likes the sound, creamy sound. Awesome. Bobby says good to see you up and running. All right, let's try it with a song. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to mute my microphone, and I've elected today to switch over to my, you can see it here, I'm using the Rode NT1. This is my favorite mic over here by all. I use and endorse, obviously, Rode products. This has been my main microphone forever, and it's and the two different types of microphones here as well, too. This is a condenser, whereas this is, this is a dynamic versus condenser. I'm just cranking the gain too much on this one. I'm getting too much background noise from my live shows. So I'm talking to Rode to get one of their, from Aphex, their sister company. I want to get one of their channel 1 interfaces where it's got, noise reduction, gate, big bottom, oral, exciter, and all those different things built into it as well, too. So that I'll be able to go back to using this mic. So in the meantime, I'm using the condenser, which I don't have to crank the gain near as much, and it's better for your ears for the sole fact that you're not going to get as much hiss. Like example, I'll give you a comparison really quickly. Watch. Okay, I'm on the broadcaster. It's more of a flat response, but if you listen, especially if you're listening to your headphones, you're going to have a lot more hiss in there, which I don't want to give you. So I'm going to turn that off and I'll go back to condenser. All right, we're back, obviously a lot better, and we're going to queue up a song here, and we'll give it a try. So this is using Helix Native in conjunction with just a backing track. Well, not a backing track. It's one of my own songs, and we'll see how it sounds in the mix. And I should have a pretty decent mix compared to tracks and guitar. So let's see what we got. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. We had a $2 or $5 super chat from Django. He says, "I always enjoy and learn from your broadcasts. I respect your experience and all of the hard work that goes into producing these. Rock on. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate that greatly. It means so much. I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun too. And here's something that really bothers me. I was really bummed because I wanted to bring this demo to you. I'm not getting paid to do these demos and things like that. But it means a lot to me because I like this stuff. I really enjoy this software. And 3 or 4 times I wanted to do this demo, and because of my internet, I had to stop. I had to stop the broadcast, and I was really, really bummed. I don't always, like when I get inspired to play guitar, sometimes, I'm sure you guys all know this, guys and girls, when the inspiration bug hits you, sometimes it hits you and you think you got it and you play phenomenal. And then other times the inspiration bug hits you and then it's not the best, but at least you got the bug. I've had the bug 3 or 4 times to do this demo, and the carpet got pulled out underneath my feet because of the darn internet provider, and it really made me upset. But we're here, things are running good, everything's looking good technically on the screen. I've got 0 drop frames. I couldn't be happier. And so yeah, I think we're going to have some fun with this software today. I am going to keep an eye on the clock. I want to make sure we don't go any longer than an hour, because I do have to call Corey, who's on the west coast of Canada. I got to call him at 2 o'clock for a test, and then we're live at 3. So I want to respect the time as well too, but I also greatly respect your time for jumping in. We're going to try some clean tones here in a second as well. Bam Ozzy is here. Sonia is here. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Sunday. Hope it's nice in your part of the world. Let me see here. Charles Green, I think I said hi to you earlier, but I'll say hi again. ASD says, AZD I should say, says, sounds incredible, great playing. Thank you very, very much. Before maybe we go clean, we will try some drop D here again. And I guess I should explain something as well too. In case you're wondering, looking at this preset here, I move my mouse over here. The upper path here, the cool thing about Helix type, whether it be hardware or software, there's paths. Okay, now the top path is what I'm using right now, and technically 1 block out of the bottom path. This bottom path could be totally blown away, and the reason why it's here in the first place, it serves no purpose to Helix Native at the moment. But that's what my preset is on Helix, where I use an acoustic guitar. So this is actually technically 3 snapshots. If I pull this down, I've got rhythm, lead, and then literally an acoustic guitar. That's geared for if you have a Variax guitar, any of the Variax model guitars from line 6, and you're running by a VDI cable. I've got a real nice preamp here. I've got some EQs and some compression, some delay, reverbs, and a volume block. So it really does nothing for this preset other than using this pitch right here. This is my, as Kai Down, one of our friends in the Helix community, calls it Eric mode. This is just a pitch detune. If I turn that off, I've got this. Turning it on, I've got a nice pitch detune. So it's that stereo spectrum, that wet, dry, wet kind of thing, and I use that on just about everything. But what I like to do is I like to keep the mix. If you notice that my mix is down to like 27%, and I just did that just before going live. I had it much higher. I like it somewhere into a 25% range. You want it just to be a little sweet spot, so if you turn it on and off, you don't notice it too much. Oh, okay. Einar. See, I thought it was an L in there. I'm just getting a message about Einar. It says my name is pronounced Einar. Feel free to call me Billy or whatever you want. So I was saying an L. I've got my chat on a smaller screen in the middle here today, so I can't see very good. So I apologize there. And yes, Bam Ozzy is saying everything that you can do with the software, you can do with an LT or Floor too. Bam Ozzy has had this conversation with us in some of our various chats. Actually, this is a perfect segue before we go into another song. Bam Ozzy is a regular, not only regular here on our shows here, but over on Nocturnal Butterfly on her channel. She has a really, really cool channel, and we've been talking back and forth on her channel about what Helix can do and Stomp and all those kind of things. He's looking at possibly getting into one of the products. So yes, your answer to that question is 100%, and you can even do more with the hardware, Bam Ozzy. You can do like, your looping and all that kind of crazy stuff, multiple sends and returns. If you're using Helix Floor or Helix rack, you've got 4 sends and returns. On Helix LT, you've got only 2. So yeah, the answer is yes to that. But since I mentioned Nocturnal Butterfly's channel, if you click on the little dots beside her name and jump to her channel, I really encourage you to go check her out and possibly subscribe, because there's a couple of really cool things, a few things that she does that's really cool on her channel. Number one, they have really fun roundtable friend discussions every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually in the earlier parts of the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And then she's doing a lot of cool stuff with home growing, like plants and herbs and vegetables and all kinds of cool stuff. She'll show you tutorials on that, even if you want to get into that and you don't know anything about it. Makes it very, very easy to follow. And then she's also got recipes and cooking things as well too. She's doing a chili one coming up. She's done some homemade barbecue sauce and also really cool rib stuff. So check it out. I encourage you to check it out. Someone in your family is going to like it if you don't, for sure. So go check it out and see if we can get some more questions here as well too before I jump over another tone. Brad says, Eric, a quick question. While I'm at a red light and listening, will Native allow me to take the Helix presets and change them for HX Stomp? Yes, you can. What you can do is you can actually bring it, make a preset in here, and then save it like with obviously 6 block limitations, and then yes, you can bring it back out, export it, and put it into Stomp, or vice versa. I can take a preset from Stomp, export it, and bring it into Native. So hopefully that's the question and the answer you're looking for, Brad. If I interpreted that question correct. And Dynamite Jones says, do you have any presets on Custom Tone? Yes, indeed, I do. There's several ways to get some of my presets. There's multiple ways. There's a bunch of free ones on Custom Tone. If you search for my username, it's FloydRose_5150. You'll find, I think I've probably got a half a dozen as well too. I plan on having some of my premium presets on Line 6 Marketplace. I'll be talking to them very soon about getting some of those up there. And I also have presets available through my Patreon, which is patreon.com/evhgeartv. You can purchase not purchase, but you can join the different perks I have there. You can get free music. You can get some Helix presets. And also the really cool thing is, well, if you're getting a Helix product and you're a little green with it, not sure how to operate it, I have Skype type options available through my Patreon as well too. So you can do one-on-one Skype calls with me. People have really appreciated those. I show them how to set up their HX effects and their stomps and their Helix products and things like that as well too. I'm not the all-knowing genius on this stuff by any means. I never profess to be. I'm getting by pretty good, and I might have a few time-saving and shortcuts I can help you with and save you some time and less time fooling and more time playing guitar is what it's all about, or bass, or whatever you're using your Helix products for. Let me see. I don't know if I've missed any other questions. I think. Oh, and R2 says, I love my Wolfgang Standard. Yes, it's a fun guitar. I haven't played this one in a little bit, so I'm bringing it back out today for sure. And Lars Guitar says, not a Helix question, but do you like Logic Pro X for recording? Yes, I do. That is my DAW of choice. I do like it very, very much. I find it, I'm not an engineer by any means or a producer, but I find it very idiot-proof, but it has a lot of robust features if I want to take it to the next level. So yes, I do. Let me see here. And I'm going to get Nocturnal Butterfly to, actually I was going to get her to text Junior back, but we'll see. 1 second here. Okay, Lars has a question. Okay, yes. So yeah, I did answer that one. Got it. Okay, let's try another song in a drop D. This one's always a fun one to play. This one's got some harmonics. You know what? I think I might jump over to a thicker pick for this one. Let's see what happens with this one. All right, this was a song called Runaway. Then we're going to try some clean tones and see what we can get out of the software. But I'm telling you, all software, it sounded pretty darn good. Hopefully it is on your end, too. Fun stuff. And Einar has a question. So my Firehawk 1500 is a Line 6 modeler too, but it's not supported like Helix. By getting an HX Stomp, I feel like I'm getting a Line 6 modeler from my modeler. What do you think I should do? Well, yes, you're right on the money. It is a modeler and a modeler, except this will take you to a whole new level. Stomp has much more. It's almost like it takes off where the other left off, right? I would run the Firehawk on a clean channel and use Stomp for everything else, for your amp modeling, for for the whole kit and caboodle, if that's an expression that you understand. It's so, yeah, even though you have a modeler and you have another modeler, technically, I mean, if you look at power cabs in essence are a modeling type of a system as well too, even though you can't just plug directly into them, but they model speakers and things like that as well too. So my opinion is, if you have the Firehawk and you like it, it's a nice powerful amplifier. I would keep it, run it on a clean channel, and use Stomp you can't see it now on this screen, but you saw Stomp earlier. I would use that for all your tones, your amps, your effects, all that kind of stuff. Dale Palmer says, sounds great through the surround. Sound nice to hear. Good. I want to look at in the near future replacing these cheap AKG headphones I have, because it doesn't sound very good through my headphones, but through my reference monitors, beautiful. I love the tone I'm getting. I'm looking to getting some Yamaha studio recording headphones, so I can kind of have that same dynamic I'm hearing on my monitors normally over here. So what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually mute here for a second. I'll put the let's do this. I'm gonna grab another guitar for a second. Let's go back over to this screen for a sec. We're doing good on time, 12:34. I'm gonna hit my Stomp just to turn it onto tuner mode, which will bypass all the tone or the noise. Switch guitars. We're going to stay on the Wolfgang family, but we're going to go back to 1997. I'm going to grab my patent pending EVH PV Wolfgang. This was one of the first, if not the very first one, into the country of Canada. Fortunately, I had some pull at a dealer at the time. I used to work for one, so. All right, we'll try one more while we're in drop D, just because sometimes, the tuning can be a little finicky. All right, and then we'll try some clean stuff. All right, here we go. Any other questions I can see offhand? Chris Link, I'm going to go check out your new video next. I love guitar collection videos. Sweet. Oh, R2. That's R2. Good. Check it out for sure. All right, here we go. We'll stay in the drop D realm. Here's a little song called Silence, and let's silence my microphone. Rate that right now.
Stay
Nice sustain. We had a question from Chris Link, I think it was, wanted to see the neck on this one. The funny thing is, a while back recently, someone had said to me, or someone had said in the chat, "Oh, is that a roasted maple neck or a roast, whatever it is?" If you look at this neck, this is a regular bird's eye maple neck, and the lighting isn't doing it justice right now because I've actually got a ring light shining on my face right now too. It looks much darker than it is. So I maybe bring it back out of the light a little bit, but beautiful bird's eye on it all the way through. Now look at the back. The back is, I mean, I just love this. I got a really nice piece of wood with this guitar. This was patent pending as well too. Right? This is a 97. I have a 97, 98, and 99 models all in consecutive series. Love this guitar to death. It's been around North America with me, like Canada, United States. Seen a lot of wear, a lot of abuse. It's been fully customized. I used to have my band emblem on here in glow-in-the-dark kind of vinyl. I've kind of saved some of this stuff that's, some of the little decor to it, whatever. Here it is here, this kind of stuff. And the cool thing is, if you see that guitar back there glowing right there, that's available for sale as well, too, from Roger Diodak and Diodak Ghost Guitars. That's the Finding Core Wolfgang signature model. I think I've got it available on my website, evhgeartdiscussion.com/shop. I think it's $45. Really cool LED light. You can change different colors and stuff on it. And Roger told me to sell them for a lot more money than I am selling them for. I'm basically making $5 on one of those things, and the rest is his cost. So you know what I mean. I'm not making a lot of money, but he made me one to sell, and so they're available for sale as well too. The same guitar that you're seeing right here. Very, very cool. Anki is here. Chris Link is here. Thanks for tuning in. No, and you're not too late at all. Still playing here for a little bit. She's tuning in from Germany. Sound is great from Charles Green. Okay, let me see here. Let's jump over. Let's tune back up to E here for a moment. Well, see, sometimes that detuner goes a little funky, so here's what I do. A little tip. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and hopefully I don't embarrass myself on the air. I stretch my string out of tune if I run out of, if you don't have time to unlock. So let's go back over to the other screen where you can actually see that. Let's go over here. All right, I'll tug the string out of tune. Be careful I don't break it. And there we go. We're almost back in tune. Because I ran out of threads on on the fine tuner. Try it again. Close enough. Actually, you know what? We're going to have to fix that. We need just a little bit more thread there. So, how about Avengers Endgame? Anybody see that? Junior and I saw it last night. No spoilers. Loved it. Loved it. I'd like to go see it again. Everything that they had said it was going to be and more. Okay, we're getting closer there. All right, now we're going to try another preset. Let's go over here. Let's go back to Helix Native. All right, and for those of you that, thank you, Anki, saying beautiful guitar. And he says I pronounce your name very well. It took me a while to learn that pronunciation. I was doing it wrong for the longest time. Let me try to find my Eric Triple. It's a nice, here it is. And this one I think is available on Custom Tone. All right, now I think the volume levels were a little high in this one, so we're going to double check it. There we go. And I'm on an acoustic preset, so we want to go actually to the clean one. So here we go. Yeah, loud. So obviously I have to adjust that one in the preset. I'll fix that later. In the meantime, what I'll do is I'll bring back, you know what I could probably do? I wonder if I just take off that volume block. I wonder if that would do it. No, that's not it. Okay, so we need to bring the output way back. So how's that? Okay, now here's what I'm going to have to do. This is going to be tricky for me. I'm going to have to take my mouse and switch the snapshots. So what a snapshot does, if you're new to the software or new to the physical hardware devices, snapshots are basically, if you go to your amplifier and you take a picture of your clean channel and you got all your knobs set a certain way, then you go over to your lead channel and you take a picture, you got your knobs and your gain and things set a certain way. Snapshots are kind of like that in the software world or the virtual world, where they're taking a mental picture of how you've got your thing set up. So in snapshot 1, where it says clean, where my mouse is right now, you're hearing this. Okay. Then if I go to the rhythm, okay, like that. You know what I might do is and then I've got, of course, my lead. Now I think what I might do is bring the clean volume back a little bit in this preset. I think that's where my problem lies. So what am I using for an amplifier there? I'm using probably the Roland Jazz Chorus, which is called the Jazz Rivet. And there we go. Yeah, I am a little bit loud on that one. So let's bring it back a little bit, quite a bit. And I think what I'll do there, I'm not gonna save it. I think I'll save it later. I could probably bring that output back up a bit now. Let's see what we got now for volume differences between clean and rhythm. I'm also watching my levels on the broadcast as well too, because I don't want to peak and distort. Digital distortion is horrible. Okay, there we go. We're getting it. And of course, watch and I pop on the Eric mode. All right, there we go. That's Eric mode. I'm going to keep that on, and I'm going to physically go over with my hand, hit the hit the channel or the snapshots. Derek Merrill's here. Hello, everyone. He says, Crowbar, glad your internet is working. It is for now. It's because it's daytime. We're going to get that resolved, though. We're working on it. They're working on it. Okay, we're going to play a song called Pass You By. All right. And let me see here. Okay. I've got two different versions of this one. Unfortunately, I'm playing this one in half step down, but it should sound good. Here we go. So here's Helix Native software. I'll be toggling 3 different presets with my hand, and bear with me if I miss a couple little cues and things like that, because I'm doing everything with the hand here. And I should bring my chat back, or not my chat, but my text messages back up, because Nocturnal is always on the ball with messages to and from to keep things rolling good for me, and I'd be lost without her. Here we go. All right. not too bad for a hand. I missed it at the end. That's some quick jumps to go with a mouse and clicking on snapshots. But I think I did okay on that one. Awesome. Getting some nice compliments. Cyber Evil says software almost as good as the playing. Thank you. And I agree on the software for sure. I'm not going to, I appreciate the compliments on the playing, but I'm going to give all credit to software here at this point. The software is amazing. It's inspiring. Philip Cockrum is here. He says, hey everyone, Chris Link, love the playing. Eric, thank you. I think we probably have time for a couple more, but maybe what we'll do is let's go to create a new preset right on the fly, okay? And then I'll maybe play one last song before we get out of here. All right, so we have a blank preset right now. We have nothing, so this is what you're going to hear. All right, so I want to grab an amplifier, and I've recently fell in love with the Engl amplifier, which is Engl, E-N-G-L. But of course, for copyright and licensing things, Line 6 has to use, other people's, have to make a fictitious name. So we're going to go grab an amplifier. And something else I've really loved as well too. This is a whole conversation for another day. I was always an impulse response guy. Since I got Helix, actually let's answer Derek's question first. Derek Merrill says, "Cool song. I know it's off topic, but if you had to condense these settings down for an FX Stomp, what would you keep in and out?" Okay, great question, Derek. Okay, and you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna pretend this is Stomp now. Okay, so I'm gonna create a preset here on Native, and we'll use it, and I'll do another video just for you, and I'm going to bring it into Stomp. But this is going to be a Stomp preset, and what Stomp has for limitations, if you want to call it limitations, is you can only use 6 blocks. So I see every one of these this little white box I've got here, that's considered a block. You can use that for an amp, a cabinet, an impulse response, an effect, whatever you want. So this is going to be basically basically a Stomp preset. And Dale Palmer's asking how similar is using Native to the Helix. Exactly. 100%, exactly the same. That's what's so nice about it. Learning curve is nothing in 5 minutes. So later on when this video is done, watch this segment of the video again. Take away all my talking at this point, okay? Because there's probably going to be a minute's worth of talking, at least 2 minutes worth of talking, and filter that out, and you'll see how quickly we can create presets. So I'll try to do as much of the talking up front to tell you what I'm going to do. So I fell in love with this new amplifier, the Engl, which is called Engl Meteor here in Helix and, of course, Native. I want to use a cabinet, and I was starting to say I used to use impulse responses. Those are kind of like digital snapshots that you can buy, and there's free ones and all that kind of stuff. You can bring them in. And a lot of people say they like impulse responses better than the built-in cabinets in Helix, stuff like that. And I was one of those guys for a while. I like the impulse responses, and now I've gone the other way, and I like what comes free built into Helix and Native. Why have to go buy other stuff if you don't need to? So I'm going to use stock everything. There's nothing I'm going to show you right now that you wouldn't get in your software or in your Helix if you had the latest versions of the software or the firmware, right? And there's always updates. Line 6 is always updating both the hardware products with their firmware, and they're also updating the software that you're seeing today. So there's new amplifiers that come out all the time, new effects, bug fixes, and things like that as well too. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Get all the talking out in front. I'm going to use an Engl amplifier. I'm going to use some type of a 412 cabinet. Excuse me, as you can see behind me, I like 412 cabinets. I'm going to use a couple of my favorite, and this kind of goes along with who asked the question, Daryl. What would I keep in? What would I keep out? I love my reverbs. I love my delays. I like my modulation effects like phasing and flanging and things like that and chorusing. But I want reverbs and delay. So if someone says to me, Eric, you can go off in this room, you can have an amp, and you can have a couple effects, and that's it. You can only have 2 effects. I choose reverb and delay. All right? And there's some other things I'd like compression. So let's see what we got. We're going to pretend we had the limitation of 6 blocks. So we're going to go pick an amplifier. We're going to look for the Engl. Let me see here. I don't think they're actually in. I'm not sure how they're sorted. And this is a really cool tip. This goes to Kai Down. Kai Down showed me this as well. I'm surprised I didn't know this. If I click that little block right there, the little 4-button thing he was asking, someone was asking that on a previous chat, and I didn't even know how to do it because I'm half blind. It shows you the amplifiers. You can kind of get an idea what they'll look like. I like them in an alphabetical order. Okay, so we're going to go try to find Engl. Here it is, Engl Meteor. So right now, it's not going to sound the best because it's going to sound like a blown speaker because there is no speaker, right? It sounds fuzzy. So that would sound like a blown speaker. There's no speaker hooked up to it. So what I want to do now is I want to add a cabinet. Okay, so I'm going to click over here. So there's 1 block. If this was pretending we're a Stomp right now, we've only got 5 blocks left. All right, and this is strictly now, we're doing this strictly for I forget who asked that. I'm lost now, but anyways, this is for basically for catering it to Stomp. We're going to go to a cabinet, and I want to get a 412 cabinet. because I like 412s. I'm going to go with greenback 25s. So right now, believe it or not, this is what we got, and this might probably sound pretty decent. Okay, now you're hearing a little bit of string clack from the condenser microphone here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the volume up on that amplifier first. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to crank my mids on all my amplifiers. I'm not going to dime it like I would do on a normal amp, but I'm going to put it up pretty darn high, and I'm going to bring the master up a little bit too. Just turn off the condenser just for a quick second. Okay, so we're coming to life already just with 2 blocks. Okay, now I'm going to add in the next thing where it's going to start to come to life. I'm going to add reverb. Now, also think of, there's with Helix hardware and Helix software native here in this case, there's no, because you'd say like, okay, a wah pedal should come in front of the amplifier, by, standards and obviously you would never really want to run a wah pedal through the loop, but and same goes with any other effect. If you like your distortion in front, which obviously it should be, there's no rules here. You can actually move stuff just by physically, I could put the cabinet in front of the speaker, cabinet in front of the amplifier, you can do anything you want, just drag them around. But I'm going to put reverb, and I like my reverb obviously in the loop of the amplifier, so let's go grab some reverb, all right? And I'm going to go, change it to, I'm going to go to Legacy, but it's going to be stereo as well, too. Legacy are the old effects, like from the M9 units and all those M units, whatever. I like plate, I like the old Van Halen kind of. Now that's insane hang time. All right, we're going to bring that back. You see the decay. We're going to bring that back to probably around between 3 to 5 seconds. Also, I'm going to bring it down to about 4.5 for a happy medium. And I'm just also watching the clock. We're getting close to the 1 o'clock hour. We can go a few minutes past. And I'm also going to bring the mix back a bit. See what we got for a mix. Oh, I can live with that. Now, here's another thing, too. You're hearing that gain, that amplifier, the angle amplifier, is a high-gain amplifier in real life. Hear that hiss we're getting like you would normally get? You'd get it out of that baby back there, too, the 5150. All kinds of noise. There's 2 things we could do. Now, because we're building this preset for imagination's sake, it's going to be on a line 6, on a Stomp, HX Stomp. I could add a noise gate if I wanted to, and there's 2 ways to do this. If I wasn't worried about my limitations, I could throw in a noise gate right here. So if I could go in here, I go Dynamics, and I actually know where to be under, where is it? I should know that. I totally forgot. There it is, under, okay, so there's noise gate, and I'd want to bring that, I could keep it in loop if I wanted to. The way I would run my noise gate when I was using the Boss NS2 is I ran that in the loop of the amplifier. No, do I have it on or not? No, I do. Okay, so now I bring my threshold up. See, that's going away? Pretty good, right? Turn it off. Pretty good, right? It makes a big difference, and it's not really, I can hit a chord and sustain. No problem. But because we're doing this on Stomp, if we use that noise gate, now we've taken away one of our blocks. And do you really want to sacrifice one of your blocks, one of 6 blocks for a noise gate? Here's a way we can get around that doesn't cost us any real estate or blocks. We click on the input, which on Helix would be a little symbol of a guitar or something, or a microphone, or whatever the case may be. In this case, we're in Helix Native software. So I click on that, and notice right here, it says input gate on or off. Okay, I'm going to bring my volume up a little bit so I get a little bit more noise. Watch, and I turn that on. Boom. Okay, so we've got 3 blocks: amplifier, cabinet, and reverb. Now let's go with my other favorite effect, delay. All right, I want a stereo delay. All right, and I've got it on simple delay right now. I could probably get the old Eddie Van Halen elephant. But what we're going to do here is I'm probably going to put the delay after the reverb and just drag it like that. Okay, I like to keep everything nice and neat. We've got 4 blocks, and my favorite delay settings are anywhere between 250 milliseconds and 350 milliseconds, so let's do just that. 290, how's that sound? Okay, now the mix is insane. Too hot, I'm going to bring that way back. Now we're getting a... Maybe bring up a little bit more mix. Okay, now let's have some fun. We got 4 blocks. We got 2 more to play with. We're painting by numbers, right? We're going to use Eric mode here, and I'm only using that term because it was coined by Kai Down, And we're gonna click over here. We're gonna grab pitch, and we're going to grab stereo. We're going to grab dual pitch, and this is what it would sound like if we just use it right now. It's gonna have some harmonies or something. Okay. Okay, we're not going to use that. That sounds crazy. Now we can do, this is really cool. We could actually use, if I change that to a simple pitch, we could do this. I'm going to bring it up in front of the amplifier first of all, and I could have some real fun if I wanted to. 1 second here to see. Nocturnal, just give me a time check. Let's say I have the world's best producer. She's great. She's just reminding me as well to 1 o'clock, because I do want to wrap up about 1, but we're okay. We can go a couple more minutes past. I'm going to say thank you because she rocks. Love you, baby. Not afraid to say that on the air because I do. All right. She's the best. Okay. So let's check this out. Okay. So we're a simple pitch. Okay. And we're going to bring that down to 0 for a second. And watch this. One of the small, slight limitations of pitch detune in Helix, if you're using it to do a complete pitch, is it's not 100% polyphonic, where like if you're playing a big power chord or a full chord, sometimes it'll go in and out of tune a little tiny bit. I know they are working on improving that, with full polyphonic pitch detuning and stuff like that. But watch this. If I want to tune my guitar, I'm down a half step as it is. But if I went in here and I went down, let's bring the mix up 100%. So now you're going to only hear the pitch level, okay? And I'm going to bring it down. So we got this. Watch if I bring down another half step, which is now a full step, it'll get you into the Motley Crue territory. Now you're probably hearing a bit of a guitar here too. Let me turn it off. But that's not what we want to do. I was just showing you what you could do with pitch. So let's go back and change that to dual pitch. Let's put it back in the loop somewhere. Maybe just put it before the reverb. And here again, you can just move that little block by block and see where you like it. And it's like, oh, there's a spot, right? Okay, now we're going to change that again. This is how you create Eric mode. And this is a credit to Eddie Van Halen and a lot of other players that like to use the big wet, dry, wet to really space out your sound and your landscape. Instead of sound coming at you like this or like this, it now comes at you like this. What we want to do is we want to bring our intervals, which is, you can see on the screen, +7 and +16. Okay, we're going to bring that down to 0 and 0. Watch as I hit a note. Okay, now we still got the right speaker, at least in my ear, is up at +16. We want to bring that to 0 as well. Okay, so now you're getting a bit of a phasing or a flanging type of, or a chorusing type of modulation, but it's coming at you like this, right? What we want to do is we want to now throw the guitar slightly out of tune in the left and slightly out of tune in the right, but we want to go one way on the left, whether it be positive or negative, and then whatever we do on this side, we want to go the opposite over here. So rule of thumb for me is I go negative on the left, positive on the right. You want to reverse that, that's cool. And here's a little guiding point. Start off with anywhere between maybe 5 to 9 cents difference. So I'm going to go minus, let's say 5 for a happy medium right now, okay? Then the higher you go out of tune, the more pronounced this pitch detune / wet, dry, wet kind of sound is going to give you, okay? So let's go -5 on the left side, which is interval 1, or sense 1, sorry, -5, okay? Now we're still somewhat mono-y. Well, is that a word? Mono-y? Mono-esque? All right, now I want to make that on the right-hand side +5, because I want -5 on the left. I want to go +5 now on the right. Oh, hang on a second. Okay. There we go. I actually had them both at minus, so there we go. Now, the mix is a little hot. It's at 50%. As you saw when I did the Boston's Pizza preset at the earlier part of the broadcast here, I had it down to around 25. Let's bring it down to, let's go happy argument's sake of 30. A little hotter than the last one, okay? All right, I can use these little down arrows if I want to as well, too. Watch if I turn that off. Turn it back on. Okay, so to answer the question earlier about Stomp, we have count with my fingers, count with my mouse. We have an amplifier. We have a cabinet. We have pitch detune. We have reverb. and we have delay. We have 5. Now, you could do whatever you want. If you wanted to use phaser, flanger, crazy effects, synthesizer, whatever you want. I'm gonna cheap out a little bit here, and I want to go less effects and more of a nice sound. So I'm going to use the old Jason Sudeikis kind of trick, one of many that he uses. I'm going to put a compressor at the end of it, because if you think when you're with modeling type of software, you're actually engineering and you're mastering your sound as you're creating it, pretty much. So this is what you do in a real world of environment. You could use compression and mastering and things like that. So I'm going to throw in a compressor at the end of the signal. People might think I'm crazy. People might think Jason is crazy by putting it at the end of it. Just do it. And then if you don't like it, hey, you don't have to keep it. All right. So we're going to throw on an LA Studio compressor at the very end. And let's turn it off. It just keeps everything nice and tight and warm. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to play one last song with this preset we've just saved, and I'm going to save this. And let me see here. I wish I could see. What was it? Derek? Was it Derek or was it Dale? Who asked about the? Okay, I think it might have been Dale. Okay, it might have been Dale. Was it Dale that asked about the limitations if I was creating this for a stomp? Who was it? Whoever it was that asked me the question about, if the limitations of stomp, whatever, if I was to make this for stomp, comment down below, say it was me, whatever, and I'm going to save the preset after you, and I'm going to give this preset away. This is going to be a freebie today that you can use as a guide, and you can just edit to your liking, but this could be used for stomp. So whoever it was, I forget who your name was, who kind of spearheaded this with stomp, let me know who it was, and I'll save this preset, and it'll be named after you, and I'll put it up available for free, and I'll send it to everybody. Jim Dale says, this is really helpful. Thank you. Please do more of these workshops. I will for sure. I love doing this. No one has asked me to do this, and I've been wanting to do this 4 times now, and the internet crapped out, so I couldn't do it. So as soon as I find out who it was that mentioned the 6 blocks here, this preset's going to be named after you, and then we'll play one song. We'll get out of here. I'm going to get a shower, which I need badly, and then we're going to be back at 3 o'clock with Corey Cherko. I have a fun show in store today. I'm just anxious to find out who it was that put me in this direction with the 6 blocks. Let me know who it was. Derek. Okay, there we go. Derek. All right, Derek. I love you, buddy. Look, I'm going to control click on here. We're going to call this Derek M Rocks. How about that? We're going to save that baby. All right. Derek M. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do it right over here. Derek M Rocks. Did I get it? And we have it saved. All right. So we're going to save that preset. I'm going to make that. So that's just for you, Derek. I'm going to make that available. And actually, I'll put it in a Dropbox or something. No sense putting this one on custom tone. Maybe I will. But when this video is done, I'll put it as a link in the description that you can download it. All right. So we're going to play one more song here. And let's see what we got here for. And this is with Derek's preset. And we're going to play a song called Loaded Gun. Derek Merrill. Yep, you got it. Thank you, Nocturnal. Okay, now I just want to make sure, because I just created this preset on the fly, I want to make sure how it falls in line with the mix here. Let's just try that. I'll wrap it up with this song. Needs to be a tiny bit louder. Okay, we're going to try that one more time here. Now they got the mix level right. So I'm not even going to say I'll say goodbye now, because we're going to wrap up right after this song. I want to thank you all so very, very much. Let me go to the big screen so you can, when I'm thanking people, I want you to see me for sure. Okay, I want to thank everybody profusely for jumping in. This has been a lot of fun. We're in a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I'm having so much fun with you guys and girls, so no problem with that. And I'm only rushing because I do want to get ready for the next show, which is the Helix Hour. But this is for Derek. Thank you so much for the input and people asking questions in here. That's how I learn with you as well, too. I love sharing and learning with you as well, too. So I'm going to shut up. We're going to play Loaded Gun here. We're going to take off and hope to see some of you back at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And this has been a blast. Okay, so microphone off. We're going to play Loaded Gun by Finding Core, available through my Patreon, patreon.com/evhgeartv, and I'll look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Okay, let's get over to that last screen with Native. Got a couple screens there. Let's do it.
Hey, you're still here? Eric Jr. here, reminding you to check out our full lineup of quality merch. Available right now in the Broadstash Boutique. Quality products and fast shipping. Visit broadstash.com today.
I am now on Patreon. If you enjoy my content and wish to support my channel and what I do, then please check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/evhgeartv. Your support assures the continued growth of this channel and a fun community in which to share our love for Van Halen, music gear, and much more.
My name is Eric and I'm playing Wolfgang guitar.
Video production services provided by Design 39 Media. Visit design39media.com for all your website, photography, and video production needs. Microphones for EVH and Gear TV are provided by Rode Microphones, and official Van Halen merchandise is provided by VanHalenStore.com.